So I wanted something for me once my kids are all like in school. So I joined early so that I would do it sooner than ending up with my youngest as a first grader and then wonder what I'm going to do with myself. So.
Well, it's good to build up the skill set early. Sometimes it takes a little bit of time to have it, just implementing your brain so you start using the language and start building up, your clientele. Good. Nice to meet you.
My name is Alex Latu. I've wanted to get into real estate for the past, 3 or 4 years and just had other jobs and didn't really take the plunge and finally just decided I don't want to work for someone else anymore. I want to do my own thing and be in charge of how much I make and have always been interested. So planning to take my test on the 30th of this month.
All right. Well, I wish you the best. You'll pass. It's not the easiest test in the world, but you have probably the best facility here in order to help you get ready. So great. Well, welcome and nice to meet you as well, Alex. Did you want to go over the 10-4? Did you want to do that or do you want me? Okay, don't worry about that. Okay, cool. You guys ordered one? You haven't, do it. If you have, then great. Thanks so much. Okay, great. So today's class, this is an exciting piece, is called Finding Your Business. Where is business going to come from? That's an important piece because without business, we don't have business. And there's lots of sources where we're going to go ahead and drive our business from. And I'm going to go ahead and use this right here. Sorry, Sid. Let's see here. Make sure everybody's good. Okay, the very first place we should always start with is, of course, our mindset. Make sure our mind is in the game because our mindset is everything. When we have the right mindset, we're unstoppable. Each one of us, I know we're humans, but with the right mindset, it's almost impossible to stop somebody who has a strong will and desire. And when you set yourself up at the very beginning of the day with the right mindset, well, you know what? People are going to feel that. And finding your business is the piece of the puzzle that you can't live without. This is where we get into prospecting. This is where we get into, of course, building our database, which I know you had spoken with, or Cameron shared with you last week, right? About building your database. Wednesday. Yeah, the last session of Ignite. Okay, Cameron's amazing. I work with a team called Red Sign Team, and Cameron is our administrator. He's phenomenal. He's brilliant. He's the one who helps set up all our systems, which is very powerful because we have a good mindset there. It's gonna trickle down. We're gonna be like, okay, we have systems in place. So building our database is extremely important because the size of our database is what? Yes, it determines the size of our bank account. So it's important to have the right pieces of the puzzle together in order for us to, of course, have what Alex wants, a big bank account, right, Alex? Yeah. Well, prospecting is going to generate the business, the leads that we need in order to put into that big funnel, say, okay, this is how many people we have to work with. Now we got to trickle it down. We got to work with each one of them, setting appointments, going on appointments, going under contract, and getting to close. And that's when we get our paycheck. We don't get paid up front. In fact, there are not a lot of jobs out there that actually pay just up front. A lot of times you have to work, and then you get paid. It's similar to this. And so we have to set ourselves up for success. And the very first piece, of course, is prospecting. How are we going to generate our business? And do any of you have books? Oh, you do all have books. Oh, this is great. I'm going to jump in here because I would like to have some of you read some of it. And let's go ahead and jump over to page 15. I do like to follow the book. The book is really important. Why? Because, well, it was written in a specific way for a reason. And I want to go ahead and jump to page 15. I believe it's page 15 for you as well. It's called Make It Happen. Do you have that?
I don't yet, but I can read it.
Okay, you're sharing. Thank you so much. I appreciate it, Tracy.
Sorry, just the first part?
Yeah, this is job number 1. It's on mine, it says page 15, but I don't know what it says on yours. Page 14 on yours? Okay. Yeah. Oh, I didn't know this was even up there.
Yeah.
I didn't think you ever got it working. Okay,
Oh,
awesome.
we got it working now.
You guys are great. I love this.
We are tech savvy. Here, see, watch this. Boom.
Beautiful. Okay.
Here,
Beautiful,
here. Do you
beautiful.
want this or do you want the slideshow? Or do you think does it matter?
It doesn't matter. This is good. I can work with this.
Okay. I just want to make sure like this is
Can we make it big?
I don't know if that one will be bigger. Yes. See, speaking of tech savvy, let's just someone wants it, you guys.
Can you hit that green button way up there? Yes, that one
Or
there.
you can just go boom. Hello.
There we go. Perfect.
Tech.
Yeah. Okay. Thanks, Sid.
I can still read it.
Okay. Maybe you guys can go ahead and just read this up here. And they give me all these cool devices. We've switched rooms a couple different times just because of our scheduling and stuff. But you know what, Alex, if you don't mind reading this first paragraph right up there.
Prospecting is the quickest and most productive way to get leads and appointments for business. The quantity of leads and the quality of appointments you obtain is a direct reflection of your prospecting effort. Remember that daily 10-4 has lead generation built into the formula. You do this daily to build a habit of doing what's most important to your business before all else.
Okay. So you're all familiar with the 10-4, right? Not necessarily. Okay. Okay. So 10-4 is basically you're holding yourself accountable for your business, right? What we try to do is we have you record what your business has been for the past week, the past day, of maybe how many conversations you've had. And in this case, how many handwritten notes have you made? How many houses have you visited? There's just some different pieces of the pie that when you put them together, you're going to have more success because you're holding yourself accountable, or maybe you have a coach who's holding you accountable. And this is all part of being able to hold yourself to a higher standard. So right here, you can see a funnel. This is one I was trying to describe. I figured you guys well, you guys have already seen this. You guys were aware of how it works. It is big funnel. You start with leads, and those lead to appointments, and those lead to under contracts, and or agreements like a buyer-broker agreement or an ERS. Who knows what an ERS is? Okay, you see? Exactly. So these are forms that are going to be so simple, and you guys are going to know them so well. It's kind of like, oh yeah, this is, if you want to sell a home, you're going to be signing an ERS form, exclusive right to sell, right? This is extremely important. Or if you are working with the buyer, what are they going to sign? Buyer broker agreement, exactly. These are the contracts we have signed. Well, they call them agreements, and then the contracts are the under contracts. Even though you have a home that you're selling for somebody, it's not under contract yet. You're just selling it. But once you have the buyer and the seller come together, you marry the two, under contract. That's the contract. And you can't have a sale without having that. And so that's an important piece of the pie. But we're going to go ahead and talk about the benefits, of course, of prospecting. At the very next page, let's see if this works. I don't know if I dare do this. Right here, benefits of prospecting here. Okay, that's the instructor, all my stuff here. Prospecting is investment and commitment to your business. Prospecting is critical to your business. We know this. Prospecting, and really what you're probably wanting to know is, who do I prospect to and how do I prospect? Is that right? Okay. Do we have any ideas of who we prospect to? Yeah, you already come from that background, that friends and family. And what do we call that? Sphere of influence. I love it. Okay. Where else? Awesome. Okay. How did that conversation start? Mm-hmm. That is awesome. Okay. So you used maybe a simple script. Say, hey, I'm a real estate agent. Do you know anybody who's buying, selling, or investing in real estate? I would like to talk to them, right? That's a simple script. And scripts are key to your success, just so you know. Knowing what to say, when to say it, extremely important. And so I would love to challenge each one of you to master any scripts that you come across and make them just part of what you say, your language of how you talk to people. Because knowing the scripts is going to put it at the tip of your tongue whenever the opportunity arises. You never know when it's going to rise. Samantha was just saying that she was at the gym, and there was an opportunity. I come across opportunities on a daily basis everywhere I go. My poor dog was injured pretty bad by a child, and I had to take her to the vet. And when I got to the vet, talking, of course, about what had happened, really, really nice guy. It came up, real estate. He asked, what do you do? And I said, well, I'm a real estate agent. And then we got into a conversation of, he just barely moved here to Utah, and he doesn't have a place to live yet. And so we got into a conversation of, where are you from? Why from Iowa? And it ended up turning out to be, hey, you know what? I can help you. So I ended up setting up a buyer consultation with him and his wife, and we ended up finding a house. We went out, found a house. I helped him sell the house he had in Iowa too. I referred him to an agent out there, another Keller Williams agent. And I used Command to find that other agent. And, he ended up selling that land. It was a beautiful home with like 50 acres of land. And he ended up buying a home here in Utah. It was pretty amazing. I think, man, it was kind of surreal in the way that this opportunity just, some people say, fell in your lap. But it wasn't just by chance. I was ready. Why? Because of the scripts that we've learned. The scripts that I was able to pull up and say, oh, I can help you with this. And then it started going into, here's how I can help you. So I delivered what is called a value proposition to him. Even though it was a sad time because of my dog got injured, it was an opportunity. And you never know when they're going to come up. And it could be at the gym. It could be at the vet. It could be out grocery shopping. There's always going to be opportunities that pop up. And if you know what script to use, you're going to be prepared. So the scripts, any scripts that come up, I would suggest writing them down, ingraining them in your mind so you're ready to use them. And I don't know how many scripts are in this one right here in our book. I think there's a few scripts that Cameron probably went over with you, or if you were here for Clay's amazing. Clay is the leader of Red Sign Team. He co-founded it with Johnny. I don't know if you've met Johnny or not. He used to be the team lead here in the office. Johnny's a great guy. They had co-founded Red Sign Team, and when it was kind of starting off, they started doing their business. I joined Red Sign Team probably about 5 years into what they already had going, but it was kind of brand new, and that's when I started. But I joined Red Sign Team because I knew this was a team I want to be part of. But I'm not here to talk about teams. I just knew that when you see something that makes sense, listen up. And I'm just telling you right now, learn scripts. So any script you come across, whether it's in this class now or if it's any future classes, write them down. You should have a book of scripts that you guys can go to. And if you want more scripts, I have a book. I have a book of what we call our Red Sign scripts. These are just scripts that we can utilize in different times. But going back to my story, so I was able to help this individual find a home. His family all moved out here to Utah because he was able to find a home, which was pretty dang cool. And now we're good friends. He's still my vet. And it's because of this happened chance that I opened up my mouth when, my dog was in need. So there's going to be opportunities all over the place. Let's go over to prospecting again with each opportunity that comes your way. It's a prospecting opportunity. I usually like to start my day with prospecting. Why do you think I do that? Okay. Okay. It is possibly the most challenging task we have as real estate agents is prospecting. Why do you think that is? Ding, 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 ding. You're absolutely right. It is challenging. It is very very top of the funnel. It's we go through a lot of people before we can get down to that one that actually closes and we have a contract, right? And so you think, oh man, am I wasting my time? No, you're not wasting your time. It's a numbers game. It's a numbers game, and it's also a skill set game. So the better skill set you have, the more likely you're able to turn that prospecting opportunity into, oh, the funnel's gone, into contracts. Now it's a process though. You start it there with prospecting, and that leads to what? Appointments, exactly. That is something that I'll pride myself on. I probably set more appointments than anybody else on Red Sign team because that's like my number one goal, setting appointments. I think that is the most critical piece because without setting an appointment, are people really serious? Probably not. And you're able to set those appointments by asking for them. Ask for the appointments. And I try to do that as fast as possible because most people don't like sitting on the phone for a long time. If you have something important to say, say it. Say it and say it fast. So I like to deliver a value proposition very quickly of, hey, you know what? You come meet with me and I'm going to be able to help you find a home. And, of course, how am I going to do that? Well, we have lots of tools here in the office. We have these awesome conference rooms. We can meet with people. And it's weird times. I get it. A lot of folks are like, oh, I don't want to meet in person. This whole pandemic has thrown a few things off, but we have to adapt to it. We have to figure out how can we still be able to make that one-on-one time with somebody valuable, and might be over Zoom. So I've incorporated Zoom in meetings as well. Just being able to set up a Zoom meeting, which is pretty simple to do. If you have any questions on how to do that, I encourage you just to talk to any one of the staff and they'll show you how to set up Zoom. And Zoom calls are fantastic because what does it do? It helps you see somebody face to face. No, it's not right here face to face, but it's via Zoom. You still get to see somebody, and working with somebody just face to face, they're giving you all their attention. And you also kind of get to see a lot of their demeanor, their mannerisms, even if it's over Zoom. It's not as valuable as it is in person though, but it's still pretty cool. So I would say if you can't do it in person, set up a Zoom meeting. I would say people are very accepting of Zoom meetings right now as well, because this way they don't have to wear their masks. They feel like, oh, I feel safe. Even though we aren't wearing a mask right now, it's okay. I feel like we're all at least 6 feet apart. Well, maybe not. I'm just kidding. You guys are. So prospecting, of course, is critical. And setting up your day to do prospecting in the morning, like you were saying, you basically eat that frog. You take that tough step initially in the morning, and I would say people are fresh in the morning. They have more energy. Get your cup of coffee and wake up, because you know what? It's time. It's time to get your day started. And the most valuable time in our business, I would say, is from morning till about noon. After that, it's just like fluff stuff. That's the most valuable time because our energy is up and we're ready to rock and roll. And when you're able to set somebody up, hey, get up out of bed. I have something really important to talk to you about. Well, you know what? Sometimes they perk up, and that's great. So I like to do my prospecting first thing in the morning. Usually I have something called a power hour. Have you ever heard that term? You have? Okay. Samantha, you have the answers to all my questions. I'm going to have you come up here and teach. I'm just kidding. Maybe next time. But I would say the very first hour of the day is when we are freshest. We have stuff going on in our minds saying, hey, I'm excited to tell you about this. Maybe it's some information that you learned about during the week. Maybe it was, I don't know, maybe a community you went and visited, right? Say, oh my gosh, let me tell you about these townhomes that just, builder just started building out in Saratoga Springs. I've got to tell you about this. People are excited to hear new stuff. So when you can bring something to the table that's knowledgeable for them, something that's going to help them grow, well, yeah, they're excited to talk about it. And they're excited to listen as well. So that's important. So I would say gather information, as we are real estate agents, to bring to the table. Make your value proposition something that they can't say no to. And getting yeses, it is a mind game a little bit. You basically start a conversation off with, making sure that they say yeses, and then you go in for the appointment until they say yes. You might have to ask for it several times, but getting that appointment set is extremely important. Go ahead. Yeah, please. Absolutely. everybody's going to be a little bit different. I come from the mortgage world, so I'm able to talk a little bit more about, is this going to work for you financially? Maybe help somebody find free money. Grants are available as well. But really share with them the ability that we have as agents. We come across what are called pocket listings here in the office. By sharing information between agents, who knows what a pocket listing is besides Samantha? Anybody else? No, just kidding, Samantha. You can go ahead and say it. Mm-hmm. Exactly. You nailed it on the head. So a lot of agents, we know about properties before the general public does, right? These properties are called pocket listings. And we share this information amongst each other. Why? Because, well, it might have the perfect buyer for that home before it even hits the market. And, that's something that it's like a deal. It's a deal that other people don't have access to. So we can give them information that they can't get otherwise. What's called pocket listings. So that's something I'll talk to them about. And as well as just coming from the experience that I've had, I also rely on the experience of my team as well, that, hey, you know what? We can share this information to you to make sure that you're taken care of from the very get-go. From the beginning all the way to the end, making sure that they have a 5-star, level of service, and make sure that they have all their questions answered. And it's going to save them tens of hours of time being able to meet with somebody in person, get all these questions answered at once, versus having it strung out, as well as giving them a tool that they can put in their toolbox to help find homes. I have a website called redsign.com. Give them access to everything that's on the MLS, which is really cool. I encourage each one of you to also get a website or develop a website with IDX feed off the MLS. If you don't, you can use the MLS. UtahRealEstate.com. They also have a service so you can go ahead and share listings that come up with your clients. So they get emailed. They call them hot sheets. Make sure that they get all the information that they're looking for. Hey, you know what? I'm looking for, a home under $350,000 in, again, Saratoga Springs, but it needs to be at least 4-bedroom, 3-bath. Is that possible? You know what? When it comes up for sale to the general public, you'll be the first ones to know about it. Great. I also pride myself on another little system that we have called See It First. It's just a little program we developed within Red Sign team called See It First program. And that is where we do everything we can to get them into the home first. Why do you think that's valuable? Good, exactly. Help eliminate the competition, right? If you're the first one in the home, it's like having a head start for a lot of folks, because if not, you could be stuck back with the masses. And almost every single home these days have what? Multiple offers. And so it's important to be one of the very first ones. If your client, like, this is the home, great. You'd rather be the very first one to see the home, be able to present an offer, versus, hey, you're the 10th person, you're the 10th offer. You kind of get stuck in just a pool of, hey, here's multiple offers. There's another class too, talking about making offers. I'd love to talk to you. Bye. It does. Okay. Yeah, I shouldn't talk so loud. I'll talk softly. You guys hear me? Okay. But I feel like there's a method in creating the best offer and being able to present it in the best light possible. And being one of the very first ones to see the home, well, most likely you're going to be one of the very first offers that the seller sees. And remember, buying and selling a home is emotional. So when we can tie the emotions in with, hey, the seller says, hey, you know what? This is the very first offer we've seen. And they start developing a relationship with that buyer possibly. That's important because, again, buying and selling is emotional, and you want to, pull at the heartstrings maybe of the sellers. Not all sellers are like that, but, it increases your chances. And so that's important. So the See It First program, I like to be able to help identify homes before they hit the market through pocket listings, just through networking with other agents, as well as I do a lot of research, me and my team do, just auction houses, maybe even wholesale deals. We pull all the information we possibly can to make sure that a buyer, they have access to every home that's available, even new communities with builders. I like to find out where they are. So this is part of my See It First program. And it helps people be able to say, okay, you know what, I'm in the right place. Why? Because I know that if there's something new that comes up, I'm going to know about it. Because that's what we do as real estate agents. It's our job to be able to deliver this to our clients. This is for buyers. Sellers, of course, we encourage sellers to, to work with us. Why? Because we're going to be able to find the best buyers for them through our marketing. We have amazing marketing ability here at our Keller Williams office. We send out our information all over the world. Just when you sign up with the MLS here in Utah, a lot of say websites, they buy that feed, and they're able to deliver it out as well. And then you can also do some additional marketing yourself. But as far as being able to have people come in here, I deliver a good value proposition. I make sure that they understand that if they come in here, it's going to be worth their time. We're going to be able to look at homes, talk about the homes, maybe even, this is another tool to put in your toolbox. Besides give them access to the MLS or our website. I like our website because we captured the leads, and so we can follow up with them on a pretty regular basis. But we also I like to use First Colonies. They have a tool you can put on your cell phone, an app. And it's a mortgage app. I encourage you all to, in fact, when Ryan comes back, you guys should ask him about it. Hey, how can I have an app on my phone? It's really simple to use. No, we're not lenders, but we can use it. We can use it to get an idea of how much payments are going to be on a home. And that's a big deal. People like to know the numbers, right? If you guys were out looking at homes, you say, oh man, I really like this home. What's the next question? Exactly. How much is it going to cost? Usually most people are in the mindset of per month. How much is it going to cost me per month? It's a mindset that most people are in. And if you have an app on your phone, you can go ahead and talk to them about it. Now, okay, just to make sure we're not lenders, we can't give them exact numbers, but we can give them an idea. It kind of gives us an idea of, hey, we should stay under $400,000 because I know that you can only afford, maybe $2,500 payment. But get familiar with it, use it, play around with it. And this is an app that I would say is important for your own toolbox, but you can pass it on to clients as well. And when they have tools in their toolbox, what does that do? More educated buyer, exactly. They feel more prepared. They feel like, hey, I'm in the right place talking to the right person because they're providing me with tools that are going to help me accomplish what my goals are, which is probably buy a home or sell a home. We have a lot of really cool tools. I love Invest. I love Real Advantage Title. I love First American Title. They're all good title companies. They all have something that they can bring to the table. I just had a closing the other day with First American Title, and they had me download an app for my phone too. Another tool for my toolbox, which is great. You can go anywhere, and it'll give you access to whatever details you want to know about that home, who the sellers are. You can even do a net sheet right there on your phone, so you can say, hey, here's what it's going to cost. Meaning like an owner's policy, a lender's policy. Do you guys know the difference between the two? Okay. I'm going to have you guys take some notes here. These are all important pieces you guys should all be familiar with. So as we work with people, they're either going to be buyers or sellers, right? And if you are working with a seller, they're going to want to know what?
How much they're going to pay you in the year.
Exactly, yes. They're going to want to know, what are my fees? What is it going to cost me to sell my home? They like to know, one, what are the commissions? You guys develop your own commission schedule. I charge 3%, and they can offer whatever they want to a buyer's agent. I recommend 3% because, you know what, that's pretty congruent with what other agents are expecting. And so usually it's 6%. I break it down for them in an email. So one commission. The other piece is, what are my closing costs? Yes, sellers have closing costs. They have to provide something to a buyer. It's called an owner's policy. Okay? It's an owner's title policy, just saying that the title is free and clear. Okay? In addition to the owner's policy, they're also going to have title fees, which is going to be a settlement fee with the title company. Okay? And they usually don't have too many recording docs that they have to have signed, or excuse me, recorded, but a buyer does. So you're going to want to know how much are title fees for the seller. And on this cool app that First American has, they have this tool where you say, oh, they have a settlement fee of $350. And then owner's policy depends on how much the purchase price of the home is. Okay, so you're going to want to know what the seller's fees are. You're going to want to know what your commissions are. I also like to include, what are sellers going to expect on an offer? Most buyers ask for what? Closing costs. Ding, ding, ding. It's good to be familiar with how much are closing costs. How much would a buyer be, asking for? Closing costs usually are about, I'd say about 2% of maybe up to 3% of whatever the purchase price is. And so I like to lay this out for a seller, say, okay, you know what? A buyer is probably going to ask for closing costs. So about 2% of where the purchase price is. A lot of times they'll ask for something else called a home warranty. Home warranty, about $500. So this is something I like to detail in an email. One, buyer's closing costs. This is negotiable. Home warranty, that's negotiable. The seller's fees, not negotiable. That's just what they have to pay. Commissions, generally not negotiable. And so then you can go ahead and break down a net sheet for a seller so they can say, okay, here's what I'm going to be paying when I sell my home. Same thing for a buyer. Now, a buyer in Utah, they have closing costs with a lender. And this is something that I would say it's important for when you do set up that appointment, you talk to them about, hey, here's what you're going to be looking at. And I'm not here to talk about a buyer presentation, buyer consultation. That's for another class. But it's important so you understand that, buyers have closing costs too. And that's something that you go and break down with a buyer saying, here are the closing costs. Who's paying for them? Some buyers be like, man, I don't have any money. How am I going to be able to buy a house without any money? Do you guys know how to do that? FHA loan's great. Yep, FHA. What does FHA require though? Good. I won't get too sidetracked here with this. FHA still requires 3%. So they still require a down payment. Okay. So what you couple that with is something called, in Utah, almost everywhere you can use a Utah housing loan. In Utah housing, it's an FHA first mortgage, but then it has a small second mortgage to compensate for that difference, that 3.5% down. In addition, you can also add closing costs into that second mortgage. So you could have 100% financing, and you can also have the closing costs included in there. But most buyers, and this is what I would encourage you to do, is say, where are closing costs? Who's going to pay for closing costs? It's either you're going to ask for the sellers to pay the closing costs, or else you're going to want to include in a loan like Utah housing type loan. These are all important pieces. Again, I didn't want to get up on this tangent, but I feel like it's important to know our job as real estate agents is to understand how it works. So let's get back to why we're here, prospecting. Where are we going to find our business? Everywhere we go, we can find business. But there's going to be some areas that are going to be more prosperous than others. Let's get into the 4 C's of prospecting though. And let's see here.
I have a quick question.
Yeah, please.
I was just going to ask, I can see like single family or like first time home buyers not having money for closing costs. Once you get to kind of like bigger homes, like is that something that buyers still expect for sellers to pay closing costs on? Like say like above $500,000 homes?
Great question. Let's break it down to a little bit more detail. Who do you think is buying a $400,000, $500,000, $600,000 home? Is it going to be a first-time home buyer? Generally not, no. So more than likely, they either have just sold a home or there's somebody who doesn't really need to ask the sellers for closing costs. So generally, they don't ask for closing costs just because they either are just selling the home, so they have maybe $200,000, $300,000 in equity that they're just going to be using towards a new home. So probably not going to be asking for closing costs. But if you ever wanted to find out, hey, how much are closing costs? Let's say somebody is like, hey, you know what, I would like to buy this $500,000 house. Closing costs are going to be maybe, I don't know, $10,000, $15,000. How am I going to pay for it? Well, you still can ask a seller to pay a closing cost. You definitely can. But most people don't ask for it as much because generally the buyer is somebody who already has money that they're putting towards a home. That's a good question though.
And that also makes their contract stronger if there's multiple offers like right now in this, and
yes.
like where we are now with.
Okay, we'll get off on this tangent just for a minute. Multiple offers, being able to create the best offer possible. exclude as much additional stuff as you can. I would suggest don't ask for closing costs. Sometimes don't even ask for a home warranty. Don't ask for anything if possible, because it's going to make your buyer look stronger. Can you add it in later? Yes, you can, and that's the secret. You can always add it in later. And what you do is once you have it under contract, that's when you say, oh, you know what? Actually, my buyers, they would like a little bit of help with closing costs. You're going to be adding it on top of whatever they offered. So let's say they offered $300,000. You know what? We like to increase the sales price to $310,000. Can you supply $10,000 as seller concessions to my buyer so they can go ahead and cover closing costs, maybe for a home warranty? You can do, but I would suggest the secret to getting an offer under contract is limit the amount of requests that you make to a seller. That's part of the secret. We can talk about that more in detail as well. Just being able to present it in the right light, making sure you have a pre-approval letter. Sometimes even a little personal letter to the sellers is good, but that isn't as significant. But it has been in the past. Right now, almost multiple offers. It really depends on what the situation is, but I could talk to you about that later. Let's get back into the 4 C's of prospecting here. Let's go here. All right. And Samantha, you want to go ahead and read that up there as well? Yeah, the 4 C's of prospecting. Perfect. Okay, it says you first capture leads by getting their contact information. Yeah, why not? Keep reading. I'll stop you when we are ready.
Leads by getting their contact information. 2, then connect by establishing a relationship. 3, finally close them for an appointment and eventually to buying or selling real property. Cultivate them to maintain and strengthen your relationship. Good. I feel like 3 and 4 are interchangeable of where they go.
Oh yeah. It says that it depends on the situation, but yes.
Yeah. Business building conversations aim to achieve these goals: get an appointment, get a referral, and they always accomplish the following: strengthen the relationship.
Okay, good. So when we make a connection, what are we doing? We're developing a personal relationship with this individual. And what we're trying to do is gain their trust. When we build that relationship of trust enough, well, you know what? They recognize whether they want to do business with us or not. So it's good to, dress appropriately, have a conversation that's professional. As we build this relationship, as we connect with them, we are also delivering our value proposition just by saying, I'm a professional. This is what I do. And your conversation should be held in that same light of, you know what, this is what I do, and be ready with scripts. So then when they say, hey, why you? Why should I work with you, Lisa? Lisa. Yeah, please.
Let's see. I have a lot of knowledge about the area, and I've been prospecting houses that I think would work great for you and your family, and I'd love to help you.
Okay, good. Okay, so I like what you started off with. You had worked on establishing yourself as a local expert, right? And that's also good because people want to know, do you know what I'm looking for? And when you say, I know this area very well. Why? Because, well, you know what? This is where I work in. I work in Saratoga Springs. I work in Eagle Mountain. I work in Orem. I know this area very well. I've done business here for a while, or maybe I did prospecting. You go, sometimes you knock on doors on behalf of your buyers to see if they're willing to sell. And yeah, it's good to establish that, saying, you know what? Yeah, I can help you. Why am I a better agent than any other agent out there? Because I'm willing to do things other agents aren't. Maybe it's the knowledge. People like to also know statistics. Maybe you can say, well, you know what? I was able to sell, 4 homes last month in this area. Why? Because, well, you know what? I know the area, and I know exactly what people are looking for. So when they say, hey, this is what I'm looking for, I know where to direct them to. Oh, that's great. You know the area, you know. And then they say, oh yeah, I'm willing to meet with you. And it's good. That's it.
About the stats, like you're saying, because it takes the emotion out of it. And we had Amber Burke was on our team meeting talking about, she met with some clients who were going to use Homey and had met with her, and she was, you know, coming up with the objections and, you know, hearing their objection and things like that. And she just said, you know, let me show you my statistics and my stats in this area about me compared to Homey and how I can get you 2% above, you know, what they're able to do for you. So she went right to the facts. So I think what you're saying definitely takes the emotion out of it, and then just just makes it very black and white, so they can make a decision more easily based on facts rather than emotion. So she did that, and I think that was awesome that she used those stats and was able to, you know, go into that conversation prepared. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Sid. I appreciate that. So stats are something that we have access to on the MLS. Now, possibly some of you don't have stats to go back to yourself, but you have an office. We are part of your stats here. Our office here, our Keller Williams office, this is who you are now too. And it will be for Alex eventually here next month. This is a big deal. Why? Because people want to know how you can help them. And if you are a leader in the industry, more than likely you're going to be able to help them as well. And when you can rely on the staff of the office, well, you know what? That's on your behalf as well. So they might not be your personal stats, but they're the stats of the office. And you can jump on there. And I don't have the MLS here, but are you all familiar with the MLS on how to log in on there? You guys all have access to it? Well, I don't know if you guys want to get onto the MLS right now, or should I continue talking about what you can do? There's an area where you can go ahead and pull down reports on stats, and you can go ahead and run with them. Well, there's so much more. Okay, I guess I can. Let's see here. Oh no, there it is. I didn't want to get off on too much of a tangent here because we have like a lot of other stuff to cover. Oops, not that one. Let's shrink this down. Gotta remember my. Okay, right up here, we have this little tab called statistics. And you go and jump in here, and you can go down, you can do all sorts of different amazing inquiries on the MLS. You can do a quarterly comparison, market summary report, sales per month report, daily snapshot report. This is gonna give you stats on just homes in general, right? It's gonna help you with your marketing but this is more for, and I don't wanna jump into this yet because this is more for when you actually meet with people. The prospecting is what I really wanted to stay in because that's what we're going to, that's why this class, that's why we're having it, is where do we find the leads, right? It's not going to be here, but this is going to be the content you use for maybe that first appointment, okay? It's good just to know what they are, of course, you know, like, hey, yeah, you know what, in case somebody asks right there, maybe at the gym or wherever, maybe at the grocery store, well, you know, how is the market doing? Well, you know what, doing pretty dang amazing, doing really good here in Utah. You know, we've seen increases in the values of property of, you know, between 5 to 8%, depends on the area, which is pretty dang remarkable, and it's continuing to rise. Some people say, oh, what about this whole pandemic? Well, you know what? Real estate hasn't been hit that hard at all. In fact, if anything, it's gone up. Why? Because people are wanting to secure themselves. They just want to get something of their own versus being subject to, you know, a landlord or an HOA. Well, I guess not an HOA, but a landlord. So I don't want to jump into this too much right now because I know this is going to take me on to whole nother tangent. Let me get back to this. And let's get into why we're here is where do we find our business? We talked about capturing the leads, and of course, delivering our value proposition is elementary when it comes to just being able to make that first connection with somebody and them asking you, well, tell me about, you know, why should I work with you? we deliver our value proposition to them, letting them know that, if you work with me, not only are you going to have amazing service, 5-star service, but I'm going to be able to bring to you everything that's available in the market. And I like to meet with people in person because that creates that connection that I would say is definitely important. Do you have any questions about the 4 C's? The capture, connect, close, and cultivate. Okay. Now you hit something on the head earlier, Samantha, sphere of influence. What are some other places that we can capture, I guess, lead opportunities besides our sphere of influence? In fact, let's do this. I want you guys to take the next, let's say 3 minutes and write down as many places that you think that we can get leads from, where you can get leads from specifically. And then I want to review them. So let's go ahead and start right now. And I'm going to ask you in about 3 minutes, some different places. In fact, write down people specifically that say, oh yeah, this person, they could be a lead, or they could be a source of leads. Maybe somebody you haven't thought of yet. Somebody who you're thinking, oh yeah, actually I could ask them for business. There's a little cheat sheet of some people, but put their names down on paper, their names of who it might be. Don't worry, we'll talk about why my hair is growing out long. We'll talk about that in a minute. You're probably all curious. Just kidding. Who told you to ask that? Okay, well, let's stick to this. Oh boy, you guys. Clay and Cameron must have taught before me. Oh geez. Okay. Give you about another minute here. Who could you reach out to and ask them for business? This would be, I think, page about 23. 21. Yeah, my pages aren't in sync with yours. Okay, let's go and start back there at the back with Tracy. Tracy, how many different people did you write down?
I only got as far as like some other places that were kind of on the sheet. So I went friends, neighbors, and relatives, but also did school. About connectivity, so I like PTA and things like that. So that's a place where I'm able to
Awesome.
talk to people.
Okay.
I also wrote down like my spouse's work and his network there.
Yeah.
My husband.
Thank you.
My
Thanks,
husband likes to talk to people about how I'm a real estate agent. So I'm like, thanks. I
Mhm.
appreciate that. Sports teams, my kids are, doing coach pitch right now. So when I'm there, I talk to people about that. And my husband usually helps me coach as well. So he's usually talking to people too, again, telling them I'm a real estate agent. And then other businesses, this year I was talking to an insurance company, and I do my home and auto through them, and they're just the people, the office that I go to set all that up. And so just whatever businesses that you use that you're kind of impressed with, and talking to them and seeing if you can help them with their business so that they can put you out there as a realtor.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Now, utilizing what you just said, helping to implement them into your database, do you feel like your database is going to grow? Perfect. Okay. Go ahead. Alex, let's see.
I have a ton. I just was thinking more about, like, I guess outside of what I thought of my sphere, right?
Yeah.
Your close friends and family. Some big ones though that I thought of are like, she mentioned like her spouse's work. Like my husband and I own a barber shop, and we have hundreds of people come through there every week. And so it's like, hey, like it's a very simple word of mouth type thing.
Good.
I also had several thoughts. Like I know we have a lot of friends in the insurance industry.
Like home and auto, or what type of insurance?
Yeah, home and auto, life
insurance.
We have family friends, and honestly, every single person in that family is in some type of insurance. So thought of that as a big one. And I also just thought of like anywhere that I go where people try to have a conversation with me. I went to the dentist a couple weeks ago, and I was kind of complaining to my husband after. I was like, I wish they would just clean my teeth and, just let me sit there, because they're always trying to talk to you, right?
When your mouth is like open,
right.
And it's like,
yeah, they are. And then by the time their hands aren't in your mouth, you are kind of just like, hey, like, am I done? But they've been trying to talk to you, right? So that's a perfect opportunity to talk back
if
to
you can
them.
squeeze in an order too.
Right.
I agree. Good.
Because I feel like they always ask you questions, but you can't. But like I said, once their hands are out of your mouth, you have an opportunity. So just anywhere where you have opportunities to have that conversation where you're on a first name basis. I mean, there's a Maverick right by my house that I'm on the first name basis with almost everyone who works there. So it's just simple conversations with people that you're already comfortable with.
Is this going to help grow your database, the information
100%.
you just put down? Awesome. Okay. 100%. Let's go and talk to Lisa here.
I think a lot of mine coincide with what they just said, because I have kids in school. So I was thinking of school teachers and, like she was saying, the PTA and those kind of kids activities, dance teachers and things like that. And then I also go to the gym like Sam. And so everybody at the gym knows that I'm a new real estate agent and that I'm going to classes and learning how to do. I go to Spanish Fork Vasa.
Okay, perfect. That's not the one I go to. I'm just kidding. No, good. Okay,
I'll be in the spin room in the Spanish Fork Vasa. And so anyways, that's kind of my
good.
The outer.
Is this going to help you grow your database?
Yeah, I would
just writing this stuff down.
Yeah,
okay, good.
definitely.
Samantha? I know you already have this sphere of influence because you come from this world, but what did you write down?
Use it. That's the problem. Because everyone else has already saturated it. Like
we'll talk about that in just a minute. Let's first hear what you have to say.
I mean, kind of the same as everyone else. I just kind of put like sources down of where I could find more people.
Ones that you don't already have in your database.
Right. Yeah. I like talking to strangers in public for some reason. Like my husband.
Your mom not teach you. I'm just kidding. No, this is good. This is where you find people.
Yeah.
I know.
So like I talk to people in the airport, like make friends with them, and like shopping, and my husband cringes every time. But
yes.
But I mean, he's a cop in Orem, so.
Your husband is?
Yeah.
Wow.
So I can't really use.
I'll have to be on first name basis with you guys.
Yeah.
Just in case.
But I know some of his coworkers are looking to buy houses. I obviously can't use the people that he contacts at work because criminals probably don't buy houses. But paid ads.
You'd be surprised.
True. Summer sales bros was something that I thought about, like kind of getting into that market of like stop renting houses and buying cars, buy a house and rent it to your friends to make money type thing.
I love it. I love it. Okay. Yeah. Good.
Waiters and waitresses, we go out to dinner a lot.
Yeah, it's
talk to
weird. Even
them.
during this pandemic, there are people, that are able to get out a little bit. I
Yeah.
love it. Okay.
And I go to yoga as well as the gym, so my yoga studio.
Perfect. I love it. Thank you. Is this going to help you grow your database at all?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Let's go and jump up here to Spencer. Spencer. Here comes the mic.
I focused more on being a friend to people because initially when I first joined, I learned a lot about numbers, and that's great. But I've been door knocking a whole lot more than usual to get myself outside that comfort zone and to grow. And I've found with businesses, local businesses, I'm talking to them, seeing how I can help them rather than just say, hey, do you know anybody? To have that sentence be one of the first
smart.
that I ask.
Yeah.
It's opened me up to a whole different demographic.
Has to be symbiotic. You help them, they help you.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, good. Awesome. Okay, so each one of you identified areas of potential business, right? And I love what each one of you said. Have I found business in these areas? Yeah, I have. No, I don't know a lot of these areas that you guys are involved in. However, I do know that as you grow in life and just as experience happens, you guys are going to find additional opportunities. Of course, I've found business in all these different places, and it's so easy when you open up your mouth. Let people know what you do. Let them know why you can help them. I love, sources of business, not just who you know, but maybe a spouse and their coworkers. And it's like, who's one of your biggest fans? Your spouse. And they're always saying, hey, you know what? They want to brag about you. So it's good to have conversations with them as well. Or best friends, just saying, hey, you know what? When you come across this conversation, let your friends know. Maybe you're not friends with them, but they'll say, hey, you know what? Yeah. And then also you'll start getting, hey, you know what? I have, is it that thing? Is it mine? I don't know. Right spot. Okay, good. Okay. But I would say definitely develop these types of leads because there's nothing better than a referral. Nothing better than a referral. And when you can get on somebody's good side as referral, more than likely you're going to be able to capture that business. You're going to be able to turn it into a lead. I closed so much business just through not just people that I knew, but people that other people knew. They said, "Oh yeah, you should talk to Matt." Well, you know what? When it's a referral, it's like, "Oh yeah, capture business." It's much more easy. So good. Create your database. And do you all have a location where you are keeping your database? What's that? Okay, Command. Awesome. Command's fantastic. Good. There's lots of different places people like to keep their database. Some people write it on paper. Some people put it in just Google Docs or Google Sheets. Command is phenomenal. That's what we're training ourselves to do. Keep it all in Command so we know we can jump to it. And we have lots of tools in there in Command for us to be able to do additional marketing. But let's go ahead and jump in. So you guys have sources where you can go ahead and contact these leads. And when you contact them, what are we doing? What's the next step once we contact them? Once we get them on the phone?
Schedule an appointment.
Ding, ding, ding. Exactly. Schedule an appointment. You're not going to go anywhere without an appointment. An appointment that's where this class is. It's a transition from, who are we going to talk to turning that into an appointment. It's exactly what this is. So I would say I have loads of scripts I love to share with each one of you. If you guys want to write down your email addresses for me, I'll go ahead and send you different scripts that I use that are fantastic. We have lots of scripts here in the office that work, but capturing that lead, turning it into an appointment, that is the most important thing you can do. Because without having that business, well, you're not going to be able to take it all the way down through that funnel and be able to set up, a contract. You're not going to be able to get anything done without that. So let's go ahead and look at the next page here. Did this open up your eyes a little bit to opportunities? Wait, what time is it? Oh, you're already back with your Jamba Juice. Awesome. I love it. Do you guys? Oh, let's go ahead and go through. Yep. Ryan, go ahead and pass them out.
Okay. So, is it listening? 3C?
What has to do with this thing? Yeah, I don't know. I'll put it back right here. Somebody can have mine. I don't know, whoever needs one. Whoever did one.
I'm good.
No, I didn't ask for one, thanks.
You didn't order one? No. I didn't either. Okay. So I'm not sure.
You guys, quit being so healthy. That makes me look bad.
Good. I feel better.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, guys.
So Ryan, I was telling them about the cool app that you guys have. I use it all the time.
Yeah.
The mortgage app. I encourage you all to get this on your phone and use it just so you understand where payments are, where numbers are. This is just going to make you a better real estate agent.
Yeah. I'm happy to send that app to anyone. My cards are right here on this table. And if you want me to text that app to you, I can text it.
Perfect. Perfect. Thank you so much, Ryan. I appreciate that. Mine is Matt, M-A-T-T, at redsign.com. Yeah, scripts are always good just to have. Sorry, you guys, I don't have the best handwriting. I'm used to computers. They do all the handwriting for me. This is sad because it's like we're getting so used to computers that we don't like sit there and write stuff down ourselves, even though I do take notes. And that's my cell phone number. If you ever need to text me, ask me questions, you're more than welcome to. Every single agent in the office, I will say every agent, because that's kind of what we're encouraged to do. We're here to help you out. We want to help you better your business. The more business you do, the better it is for everybody. And we like to have, of course, our numbers go up in the office. And so I encourage you to be the best agent possible and develop your skill sets. Now let's talk about when to prospect. We talked about that a little bit earlier. I would say getting a consistent schedule set up for yourselves is powerful. It's going to help you put in your mind, ingrain in your mind, this is what I do. This is what I do every single morning. Prospect. Schedule at least minimum 1 hour where you prospect. And I say prospect, make phone calls for business, not just follow up on business, but you look for new business. And again, I call that my power hour in the mornings. And Aaron back there, I hear Aaron every single morning making phone calls every single morning. He walks around the office. And what are you doing, Aaron? You're making.
I said, if you're not making calls between 9 and 10 every morning, you're not working. That's your number one job description.
Exactly. Thank you. Aaron is phenomenal here in the office, one of the top agents, and that's a testimony from him. You have to work. You have to do what we call a job. This is our career. This is our calling in life. This is why you're here, is to generate business. And the only way you're going to be able to generate business is if you actually go to work. You might be super talented, which is great, but hard work will always trump talent. When you are ready to go, you work hard and you generate the business that you can. And I would say get it set up in your phones, whatever schedule you have, set apart a minimum of 1 hour a day prospecting for new business. You can do it for longer if you want to. You can do it for as long as you like. I generally like to do it first thing in the morning. And again, why is that? Why first thing in the morning? Maybe it's the most challenging. Also, you have the most energy first thing in the morning. And a lot of times this is a good opportunity to wake people up. Say, hey, you know what? Get up out of bed. I have something really important to tell you, to talk to you. And I would say that prospecting is what is going to drive your business through the roof. You're consistent at prospecting, you will all make lots of money. Every single one of you, without question. It's a, what does Spencer say? It's a numbers game. It is. The more people you talk to, more business you're going to do. And let's go ahead and take a look here. Time blocking. Oh, with the 3-3, prospect efficiently. Okay, you know what? Actually, Spencer, do you want to read this for me? Right there. First paragraph.
Prospect efficiently and consistently with 3 processes in your 3 hours of daily lead generation. The formula for this time blocking discipline is called 3-3 and stands for 3 things done in 3 hours. As a new agent, you can and should spend more than 3 hours doing this.
Okay, why don't you go ahead and read this first one? Prepare.
Prep, call lists, say affirmations, focusing on big why, practice scripts,
Good.
take action, prospect, update database, maintain, track results, schedule commitments, write thank you notes.
Good. Okay, good. So all of this is considered prospecting. Right now in this day and age, I would say the majority of our prospecting is done where? On the phone, exactly. It's going to be done on the phone. It used to be a lot more door knocking and things like that, but we're kind of in a weird place right now. And a lot of folks like to have people knocking on their doors because, I don't know, this pandemic has thrown a few things out of whack, but we have to adapt. Have any of you ever read a book called Who Moved My Cheese? Okay, it's a book just talking about change. We have to understand that their change is inevitable and we have to change with it. Right now, we're just in a weird time where we have to change our business practices slightly in order to compensate for, hey, you know, we have business to do. How do we do it? One, instead of meeting in person, maybe we set up Zoom calls. The other, prospecting over the phone. And there's lots of lead sources for prospecting on the phone. One, you guys just started writing down maybe your sphere of influence, right? I would say I probably do maybe about 70% of my business sphere of influence, maybe even more. It keeps increasing every single year. And sphere of influence is going to always be your strongest piece of the pie. Sphere of influence, who you know. Why? Because there are people maybe that you've already met. Maybe there are people that know of who you are already versus just the cold calling. Although cold calling is great too. Now, cold calling lists, where do you think we get cold calling information from? Meaning people that you've never met before. Where? Paid ads online. Okay, good. There's lots of opportunities for us to be able to pay for business. Have any of you ever gotten a phone call maybe from Facebook ads? They're always business. There's always people calling and say, hey, you know what? We need an agent in 84057. Will you be our agent? You know, they're just basically looking for business. Why? Because they want to maybe feature you. They want you to sign up for ads on Facebook. And that's one source. One source. There's lots of places you can look for business. Title companies, they sometimes will provide you with lists. Again, I was talking to a First Am, and they say, hey, you know what? If you want a list of people to call, we can provide you a list. I was like, really? That's really cool. Most of them are going to be scrubbed as well for the do not call list. There's a company called RedX. Have any of you ever heard of RedX? Okay, RedX is another good source. They're local, and they'll provide you with tons of names and numbers. Of course, everything is going to be at a cost, but you know what? We get a lot of business on Red Sign team from RedX. They provide us with maybe FSBOs, or they provide us with expireds, which you guys all have access to, right? You guys have access to expireds. Jump on the MLS. You guys can go ahead and look up anything that's expired. Maybe set up a little hot sheet for yourself. Anybody who just expired yesterday, give them a call. Give them a call. That's a source of leads. So expireds, FSBOs, these are all sources of new prospecting leads for you. And, yeah. Okay. Do you guys know what an expired is? You do? Yes, yes.
Like when they expire.
Yes.
And what happens to the agent who is assigned to that list? Like, is that for anyone now, or how does that work?
Exactly. So once a lead expires, that means that agent, and sometimes they do, but a lot of times they don't, they extend that period of time when a home is listed. So when I refer to expireds, these are listings. These are homes that had gone up for sale, And maybe the agent didn't price it right, or maybe the agent is a bad agent and just didn't market it very well. So the home didn't sell, unfortunately. That does happen. Either priced out of the market or the agent didn't do a very good job marketing it, but they didn't update that listing. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't, but you can go ahead and call on it. It's basically a free-for-all once a home expires. Go ahead and make phone calls and say, hey, you know what, maybe your agent didn't do as good enough job. I probably wouldn't say that, but you just say what you can do for them, helping them market their home if they're still in the market to sell their home. Most people are, because they have an opportunity to withdraw it from the market. And if they didn't do that, they just let it expire. One, maybe it's because it just wasn't priced right. The agent didn't do a very good job marketing it. So this is something that you guys have an opportunity now to go in and capture that business. You already know that they have something to sell. Help them sell it. Go ahead.
So if there's a buyer broker agreement, or I mean a listing agreement, I know some of those kind of go to a certain date. So even if it's expired, they could still be under another agent for a short period of time. Are you able to go get them as business still?
Good question. Okay, so let's talk about the ERS form, the one that you're referring to. So that has an expiration date on it, right? It's not like it doesn't last as long as honey does. There's a date that it says, hey, you know what? You have my business up until this date. So that is a definitive date that, you know what, I'm working with this agent. After that point, they're no longer working with that agent. Now, sometimes the agents go back in and say, you know what, we're about to expire. Do you want to extend it? And sometimes some people do. And that you don't know. You can go ahead and check to see, hey, you know, if maybe they aren't satisfied with that agent. But really, that's a definitive date. They're no longer working with that agent. Could that agent still capture their business? Yeah. Maybe they need to make some adjustments, but it's an opportunity for you as a new agent to present something new to that potential client, saying, hey, let me help you sell your home. Obviously, it didn't sell before, and you can start asking them questions. There's a series of questions you can ask of, you know, tell us more about your experience. You know, why didn't it sell?
Here's my question, Matt. So what happens to the agent? Like they just decide not to work with them anymore? Like it just, like, where did the agent go?
We don't know. We don't know unless we ask questions. Sometimes the agent is in the process of updating a new ERS form, extending it. Sometimes the agents they just left the business, or maybe they just didn't do anything about it. They didn't market it. They forgot about it. We don't know.
And so because at that point, since they were the one over that listing, they didn't do anything with it. It just went into the expired.
That's exactly right.
And then maybe the homeowner didn't find a new agent at that point. So it's just kind of floating out there for.
Exactly. Yeah. So we don't know. So that's why we call up and we ask some questions. We ask them all sorts of questions. Tell us about your situation. And all of a sudden you'll be surprised how many people open up.
I mean, do you call a lot of those and it's like something has happened in the meantime where it's just showing expired?
Yeah, I would probably say about 50-50. You know, sometimes it's sold, but the agent never updated it, and they can get in trouble from the MLS, but that happens. I've had some people say, oh, you know, it's actually under contract, or, you know what, actually, we're just signing a new agreement with the current agent, because maybe they have a good relationship with them. Everything is possible. We don't know the situation. I'm just saying that is an opportunity for a lead source. And you can go and jump on the MLS and get them. RedX is phenomenal, though. I love working with RedX because they provide a lot of really good leads. There's lots of different places out there. There's another company called Agent Pronto. Agent Pronto, that's just another lead source. Basically, it's a telemarketing company. They capture leads, and you know that there's somebody who's interested in buying or selling because they demand a referral fee. So they're going to say, you know what, we'll give you this lead, but we want 25% referral fee. We have lots of companies that we work with that demand this. We don't really pay them money for these leads other than if we get them under contract, we have to pay them 25%. Does that make sense? It's an opportunity for leads. That's all that is. And there's lots of these companies out there. So just be aware that there's lots of sources out there besides your sphere of influence. However, your sphere of influence is the easiest business you'll ever have. Referrals are the easiest. Any other questions? Okay. Sid, do you have any other questions?
I'm like asking as many questions. I'm just like so interested as, you guys teach
Yeah.
and I guess I'm as
Ask away, because
interested.
this is going to help everybody.
No, I mean, I'm
No.
good. No.
I guess like I have a listing that ends probably end of September.
Okay.
But I have the ERS until December. So my worry would be
Wait,
like if
you
I
have what? You have what till the end of September and what till the end of December?
my listing
You
on the
have it.
MLS.
Okay, so but the ERS doesn't expire till the end of December?
Yeah.
So how's it just till the end of September?
Because I'm green and that's the date that came up on the MLS.
Okay, I
For
guess
the
I
end
don't
date.
understand. Okay, I guess I don't
So
understand. 'cause
should
usually
that
it should
be
match
till
your
okay.
ERS. It
Okay.
should always match the ERS because that's the date that they're under contract with you for.
Okay. I was green.
Yeah.
I'm green.
No,
I'm
it's
pretty
okay.
green.
This is a good question.
So it's just
They
like
should always match.
I didn't know what the end date should be on there, and then I think it just popped up several months, and then that's kind of I put the start date and then it put an end date in there for me.
Okay, so you did the right thing. I love how your ERS is all the way till the end of the year. I always do that. Every single person, I always do it till December 31st, till the end of the year, no matter what time of year it is, just because it's just easier this way. It's just done, and you have them locked up until then, and you want to sell their home. Usually it's going to sell faster than that, though. But
Well, that makes more
yeah.
sense. So thank you.
Yeah, you bet. You could update it on the MLS to reflect what's actually on the ERS, yes. But you can update that. That's pretty simple to do. It's not in danger right now, but I'm saying maybe closer, you can go ahead and update it. Why? Because there are agents who salivate over listings that are going to expire. Why do you think that is?
Well, just like what you were saying, you can jump all over it and possibly get a client.
Exactly. Okay, good. So yeah, so there's lots of lead sources out there. You guys just wrote down a bunch of different people. This is probably going to be the most valuable list you guys make to grow your database and go after business with each one of these folks. Because the closer you are to this person, the closer you are to actually getting an appointment. More than likely, they're like, yeah, I want to work with you because, my husband works with you, or, you are my kid's, I don't know, my kid's best friend's mom or whatever, or dad. Okay, good. So time blocking is extremely important so you can set apart the time to do your prospecting. This is, I would say, detrimental to any business because without working, you're not going to go anywhere. So set it in your calendars, set it in wherever you need to, get up in the morning, say your daily affirmations, remind yourself of why you're the best agent, of how you're going to help people that day. And you know what? You'll be surprised when you're on the phone, when you start getting on the phones, like, yeah, you know what? This is who I am. I am going to help you find a home. I am going to be the best agent because you have tools that other agents possibly don't have. Each one of us is different. Each one of us offers something that another agent can't. That's why there's so many different agents. We all feel like we're special. I don't know why. But if we build our skill sets up, we are able to be that special agent for that individual. There's going to be people that, Samantha, that I don't know. Lisa, you as well, and same with you, Alex, and same with you, Tracy, and you as well, Spencer. So I would say I encourage you to take advantage of the people that you do know. Not in that way, but take advantage and like prospect to them because you're going to be able to get the business that you otherwise might just go untouched. So let's go ahead and look at prospecting opportunities down here. I'm not going to worry about watching a video.
Matt, who would you consider your SOI? Like, is this a person, your auto mechanic? Is this obviously a relative or a neighbor? But then, like, who do you consider in that SOI and then maybe like the next level?
Good question. Okay, so as we develop our databases, we may list them as, oh, these are my A's, these are my B's. A's are people maybe that you know well, that you know that if you were to ask them for business, they would likely send it to you. Or if they come across a conversation where real estate's involved, they'll most likely refer you to. They'll refer people to you. Maybe your B's are people that you know of, but you don't know if they're going to send business to you. You don't know them that well yet. But I would say there's going to be different levels of your SOI. And this is good to start understanding who they are. Maybe make 2 different lists. Your SOI, people that you know that will send you business. And there's going to be your SOI who you know, but you don't know, are they really that good of friends with you? That makes sense. So your SOI is anybody that you know personally. I would say people that you've met.
So what about, Tracy mentioned a spouse's
Coworkers. Yeah. They're her SOI, her spouse is. They're not her SOI yet unless she's met with them, unless she knows them personally. You have your mets and you have your have not mets yet.
But you still throw them into one of those categories to reach out and contact.
Her husband is going to be the SOI, yes. Okay. But you're going to prospect. She's going to prospect her husband and say, "Hey, have you come across any conversations in the workplace that I might be able to help with? Any conversations about real estate?" More than likely, I think the stat is every individual comes across a conversation regarding real estate 5 or 6 times a year. And that's an opportunity for them to refer somebody to that friend or individual, a coworker. And, in that case, I would say you want to make sure that you're top of mind for that individual, spouse or husband or friend, because that's an opportunity for them to refer you business. I always like to reward those people who send me business too. I'll give them a gift card, I think that's important. People have to understand, kind of like Pavlov's law with the dog, just saying, hey, you do this, you get rewarded. You do this, you get rewarded. And that's good because, it's going to set in their mind that any conversation I come across, I send them to Lisi and, I get a gift card in the mail. Bam. Hey, I want to take my wife out to dinner. I want to take my husband out to dinner. If I send her business, I got to take her out to dinner for free. Just stuff like that. So this is important for you guys to establish these systems right now as you guys are growing your business. So it's good. It's always good to ask for business and make sure that people are aware that you are up for referrals. Make sure that, this is an opportunity for them to refer business back to you as well, and you reward them for that. Mm-hmm. Oh, when I reward them for referrals, I usually just send them a gift card, just saying thank you, maybe $25 to, a restaurant or something like that. I know it's weird times right now. It's like I don't want to give the movie theater tickets. It doesn't do them any good. I don't know if movie theaters are even open right now. I have no idea.
And the state of Utah has like a cap on that though, right? To reward clients for referrals, like it was like 150. Did that
yeah. I don't reward people that well. I stay under that. I stay maybe $25, and that's good. You can do whatever you want. And this is, of course, this isn't money saying, hey, send me referrals and I'll send you this. I don't do that. I don't put a dollar figure on it. Just say, just give them a thank you. Yeah, I would not say.
You know what the limit is. So that can't be like recurring.
Yeah, you can't prospect saying, hey, you know what? Every single person you give me, I'm going to give you $150. You can't do that. You can't give them any compensation. However, you can reward somebody for an unsolicited referral. And that's what these are. These are unsolicited referrals. Yeah. Exactly. So they're unsolicited referrals. But you want to let people know that you do want to work with their referrals. Why? Because you're an awesome agent. You're an awesome agent, Tracy. And you know what? I want to send my business to you. I want my friends to work with you. And so when I come across somebody who's interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate, I'm going to send them to you. And you can turn that so you can say, hey, you know what? Tracy, if you come across anybody who's interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate, please refer me to them. I would love to help them out, give them the best service that they can possibly get, as well as help them achieve what their dreams and goals are. And once they do that, great, bam, a referral, like a little gift. But it can't really be solicited. But that's what I like to do. Why? Because again, like Pavlov's law, you just kind of reward behavior. That's all it is. So. Did that answer your question? Okay. Okay, good. So lots of different sources, again, for finding business. Your call lists, taking action. Of course, this is actually you making the phone calls. And we talked about where you get lists from, right? Where you're going to be able to make phone calls to. Your sphere of influence. So definitely, if you don't already have a database, make sure you have a database. Make sure it's easily accessible. I love Command, but for me, it's not the easiest for me to use. I have lots of different places where I keep my database. Command is one of them. I also have another system called Boomtown. Boomtown is it's a third-party resource that I use, and I have all my clients' information in it. And it's pretty easy for me to use because it just has their name and their number, and it tells me if I've talked to them recently or not, and when was the last time that they were on my website, for example. So it's really a great tool. You can go ahead and sign up with Boomtown if you want to as well. There's lots of sources, though. You can go ahead and maintain your database. I like to use that because I just like to have a name and number. Bam, name and number, and I just call, just like that. So the faster you can access a name and phone number, the more people you're going to be able to talk to. And I encourage you to locate whatever source is going to be good for you, even if it's Google Sheets, a name and number. And then, of course, have a little area where you can keep track of how the conversation went. Oh, yeah, I remember you talking to me, 3 months ago. You just had little twins. How are they doing? People like to know that you still remember them, even though once you start getting into the hundreds of people, it's going to be hard to keep track of everybody. And it's good just to keep notes because you'll want to come back to them later. And okay, what are some other sources of leads? We talked about our SOI. We talked about RedX maybe, FISBOs. You guys all know what FISBO is? Okay, good. There's going to be like Agent Pronto and things. Go ahead, Spencer.
I've seen my work, again, with businesses. I would go to a business for two reasons. The first is to people, but as well to expose myself to this business and have them say, wow, this guy's doing his job. He's going around, he wants to know what's going on and what new features we have. And I meet plenty of wonderful people. And those are pretty good contacts who right now aren't looking for anything necessarily, but always good.
Yeah, good. That's almost like door knocking. You're looking for new business in places that they aren't pursuing you necessarily, but you're presenting yourself to them, which is great. That's like door knocking.
And real quick with the whole COVID situation,
yeah.
Of course, door knocking is taking a different back burner approach, but with this, people are at work. They're expected and assume that they will become in contact with other people. They're the shields, of course, and so it's all very safe, and they're interested in expanding their business.
Good. That's right. I mean, we are in interesting times, but it's always good to look for business. And we all have access to something that we didn't have access to, I'd probably say 10, 15 years ago. I know, I'm old. But we have social media. Oh my God. How many people go to social media on a daily basis? Every single one of you do. I already know you do. You don't have to raise your hands. It's okay. You probably go on an hourly basis. In fact, you probably are checking it right now. Social media is a big deal. It's a very big deal. Oh, no, I just was asking if you do. A lot of people use social media just for entertainment purposes, but they also use it for informational purposes, okay? So informational, well, you know what? If Sarah just bought a house and she's listing all these pretty photos, that's interesting. Who did she use? Tell us more about this, because I'm really good friends with Sarah. Well, you know what? Social media is powerful. And there is a way to market yourself on social media. I encourage you to do it. Let the world know. You can set up your own page if you want to, or you can go ahead and use your existing page. But that's a great source for leads. I would say definitely get yourself out there. You have your Instagram, you have your Twitter, you have Facebook, you have lots of different places. TikTok, make TikTok of yourself. Maybe have a fan page and it's funny to say, well, I only go on TikTok to laugh, to see Tony make fun of his Latina girlfriend. There's all sorts of things on there that you go to it for. And you know what? I love it. I think it's fun. But there's also information there. And Facebook does a really good job of marketing, and they can put you out there. You pay them for ad space. And you know what? It brings business in. We do business. We do a lot of business via social media. You pay for it, but you know what? Sometimes you have to pay for it. The sphere of influence, you don't have to pay for it, which is pretty dang powerful. But social media is just another source of leads. So I would recommend setting up a page for yourself and put pertinent information on there. I think the Utah Real Estate, I think that they send out, on a quarterly basis, maybe even a monthly basis, the stats of what's going on in the market, right? Copy, paste right into your social media, right onto Facebook. This way people say, oh yeah, you know what? Samantha, she does real estate. Oh, that's really interesting. I didn't know there was that many houses that went up for sale this last month. This is how many homes sold. This is what percentage they sold at. Pretty cool stuff. People just like to be informed. And the way when they can relate you, Alex, she knows real estate. I'm going to talk to her when I come across, I need real estate. So it's an opportunity. So look at all your sources that you have access to, utilize them. Some of them are free. I mean, that's a place where you can drive in business or bring in business. Once you are there, you're going to want to be in a place to where you can actually turn that business, that lead source, into an appointment. So be ready with scripts. If you guys want to text me or if you guys want to email me, I'll go ahead and send you a list of scripts that I use all the time. Oh, good. Okay, good. Awesome. Beautiful. I don't have any phone numbers, but that's okay. I don't need phone numbers because I'll just be emailing you.
Matt, give us your favorite script when you're calling your friends and family, your SOI.
Okay. I say, hey, Jason, it was good seeing you last week. I just want to remind you, I'm in real estate. I love to work with anybody you come across. And, in regards to real estate, I am having a phenomenal month, but I have a goal in mind that I'm trying to achieve. If I can achieve it, then I'm going to get a big reward, and maybe you can help me out with that. Are you willing to help me out? And they usually say what? Yeah. Okay, great. Great. Well, if you come across anybody who's looking at buying, selling, or investing in real estate, will you pass on my information to them? Yes. Okay, great. Good. Well, do you know of anybody right now that might be interested in buying, selling, or investing in real estate? Yes, or maybe no. Okay, well, thank you for thinking about it. I appreciate that. If you do come across any, please refer their information to me by just texting me their name and number. And I would love the opportunity to talk to them. Can you do that? Yeah. Okay, great. And that's just like a referral. And from there, you can go ahead and bring in business. I get calls all the time, but it's important for you to make calls. So your SOI, I call it touch my SOI at least 4 times a year. On a quarterly basis, make a phone call to those people and just say, hey, you know what? Just want to remind you, I'm in real estate and real estate's doing great right now. Have you come across anybody who might be buying, selling, or investing in real estate? Or do you know of anybody right now? And I just make that phone call on a quarterly basis. Keep track of it as well. So what if you are that annoying relative or annoying friend who calls about real estate? You're not doing it every single day. You're doing it on a quarterly basis. A lot of times it's like, oh yeah, I know. This way you stay top of mind with your SOI. Your friends and family, they know, hey, real estate, I know I'm going to refer him to Spencer because, he does real estate. And that's powerful. So just do it on a consistent basis. Be consistent about it. Keep track of it. I do.
They're giving loans for 2.7.
Become a lead generation machine.
It's crazy.
I'd love to talk to you about what we had discussed today. Again, I didn't go over a ton of scripts. There weren't a lot of scripts that are in here right now. National Association of Realtors estimates that about 9% of all homes that are sell by owner. That's great. So there is business out there in every single one of these pieces that we talked about. FSBOs, expireds, your SOI. Every single one of these are lead sources for you to generate more business. But I'd like to answer any questions that you have.
I'm not going to sign anything right this second, but you have
Ask
10
me any
days
questions.
from last.
Yeah.
But
If it's going to help your business out, I'm here. I wanna
Just something
answer.
that I've seen in the book and
Yeah.
like being on the Facebook page of agents and stuff.
Right,
where,
for
people
you.
post like, hey, I need help with an open house
Yeah.
on this day or whatever. So just so I know going into this, because I've put out there that like, if anyone needs help with that, like I'm willing to go.
That's awesome. I have so many needs for open houses. Thank you.
Let me know.
Perfect. Okay, I will.
So then my question is, if you're helping someone out and you are having people come in looking to buy, as an agent that's asking for that help, do you expect me as an agent to pass those buyers on to you, or are you expecting them to like be okay with?
Depends on the agent.
Okay.
Depends on the agent. I personally, if you're willing to man an open house for me, you take whatever business comes from the open house, which is another lead source, open houses.
Right.
I encourage you to do open houses. Again, we're in weird times, but open houses are starting to come back to life. I would say if you were to do an open house for me, I expect you're doing the prospecting for any new business that comes in from the open house.
Mm-hmm.
It's yours.
So do you recommend just like asking the agent before, like,
yeah,
do you
make it
want
real
these
quick,
as yours,
crystal clear.
or are you okay as taking them as mine?
Yes,
okay.
yes. Some agents are like, well, no, anybody who comes in, I want to call them back. Some agents are like that. Some agents are like, no, you man the open house, you're doing all the work.
Right.
You deserve all the spoils.
Okay.
Thank you for asking. Spencer?
Well, here's a loan just in case
Thanks,
you need it. But everything I've read, I need to talk to Dan about it a little bit more because I don't think he really understands.
So I can answer questions, or would you rather just have me refer people to you so you can do that yourself?
You know, that's where you should be real clear with who you're doing open house for. If it's not your own open house, you can ask them, say, you know what, as people come in and they sign in, do you want me to follow up with these individuals, or are you going to? It depends on the agent.
Because I wouldn't want to step on anyone's toes information.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why that's great question though. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, we had this come up a couple times because, especially with new agents over the past few months, as agents on our Facebook page post for open house opportunities. And so there was one agent who, he's like, I want to take 25% from anyone that you secured an open house because I've done the work, I put the ad out, and then, you're going to have another agent who says it's all yours. So definitely ask those questions beforehand. We had another new agent who's doing an open house, and it was his first open house that he was taking for someone. And, ask, do you have some, like, put out balloons and signage and flyers, like, ask if you need to be the one making the flyers. If they don't tell you, that agent might give you direction on how they want you to run the open house. But if they don't, make sure you ask so you're not doing something that they don't want you to be doing. But definitely ask those questions. Maybe just have a standard list that you ask when you take on an open house. I know the one, he was unsure, like, do I pick up signs? And we have Elevate Home Warranty right upstairs. You can go and check out open house signs from them. Their doors open. They're just on the second floor, and you can go and get signs from them. But ask the agent that you're doing it for those questions. Like I said, should you be making the flyer, or do they have one to send to you and then you can just make copies, or, is there specific information you want to share about the house? Because then you're going in prepared and also representing that agent in a positive light as well. So don't be afraid to ask those questions, because it's better to get, ahead of the game than trying to, run an open house that you're feeling a little bit disorganized about, because not every agent is going to be proactive in giving you that information. Make sure, like Matt's saying, that you ask. Nothing wrong with that.
Good.
If you want to talk to me, I'm fine with that. But if you're just telling me information that's not really useful.
I can help answer any questions you have. You already know what we talked about today as far as sources of leads.
I'm going to stay here and do
finding your business is definitely the most important. That work that you're putting into every single day, do the worst thing you can possibly do, like Samantha was saying, prospecting. Most people don't like prospecting. It's a pain in the ass. It is. It's something we do, though. It's what drives our business. This is who we are as real estate agents. We have to not just be reactive, but we have to be proactive. because that's how we generate more business. And surprisingly, it's like, man, I don't feel like I'm doing very much. You'll be surprised. All of a sudden, that one phone call comes in, that turns into a lead. And I would say each lead is like a branch on a tree. It just grows. And maybe that one source all of a sudden opened up 5, 6, 7 other sources of business for you. You'll be surprised. So always keep people in your database and go back to it. But some of these people that you've never met before, maybe they could be a lead source as well, but you're not going to know them until you talk.
Becoming harder in the business. And so all these new agents, he's just like,
Yeah.
you know how he got a little, I don't know if he was sunburned already, but he got a little
I would probably say source. The other lead source comes from my team. We do a lot of marketing. We do Facebook ads. Okay, well, let me back up here. Let me paint the picture for you, okay? When I first started in the business, you'd think I'd had this huge SOI, but I didn't have a very productive SOI. They didn't produce a whole lot for me. When I very first started in the business, I would say about 90%, maybe even 100% came from my team. That's who I was. It was referrals from other agents who said, hey, I don't have time to service this lead, like open house, for example. Can you go take care of them? And then that just started to grow. And then all of a sudden my sphere of influence started reaching out going, oh yeah, I see you've been doing the business for a year or two. I'm ready to use you. Because some people are like, well, you're new to the business. Do you know, like how good of a job are you going to do with helping me find a home? Like these, whatever, multi-million-dollar homes are like, well, they want to work with somebody who's experienced. So at the very beginning, it was just sources from my team. I did a little bit of prospecting myself as well, though. I would get in every single morning and I'd make phone calls. I wasn't as successful initially, but then it started to grow. Then it's like, oh, wait a minute. That's a really good question. You start asking the right questions, you're going to get answers that lead to your business. So that's where it started. And then it kind of transitioned from mainly team leads to all of a sudden my sphere of influence, because my sphere of influence started growing. I started asking the right questions. And that's something I want to share with you, is asking the right questions, who to ask them to. From there, it's turned into, mainly sphere of influence, but then also we do a lot of marketing. I pay for marketing. So there's Facebook ads, which are great. We have Agent Pronto, which is good. Other agents, they also send business, but RedX, also that's another source lead for us. I would probably say my own marketing efforts, though, like my own listings, they generate a lot of business. Each listing that I have usually produces 2 to 4 buyers, new buyers for me. It's a big deal. Yeah, do a lot of people have agents? Yeah, but not all of them do. Not all of them have good agents.
My wife would be in her room drinking, asking, watching TV on the phone. So every morning
they scrub all that stuff for me. I pay them for that. It's nice when you can start paying for people to do stuff for you. What's the triangle?
Especially with family here.
That Gary Keller talks to us about?
And so
yes, listings, leads, and leverage. Remember that. So leverage this is where you pay somebody else to do the work for you. Okay. Sometimes that's really useful. You guys are going to get big enough to where you guys want to hire maybe an assistant. You're hiring somebody, you're paying them, but it gives you leverage. So you can be out doing other stuff, other activities that are going to produce more income. Leads, that's what we're talking about right now. Where do we bring leads in from? Lots of lead sources. Your SOI is the biggest one. Once you start having listings, great. Then you're going to go ahead and say, here's another lead source for me. Your social media, that's a big one. RedX is a good one. Agent Pronto. There's lots of different lead sources out there. It's just dialing it into what works best for you. Maybe you don't have a lot of money to invest initially. Start with your sphere of influence. It's free.
12 hours, And so he would get
200 announcement letters to go out to family and friends. And we've had several agents. Susie Clyde is one. I believe Dallin Lyman. That's where they got their first leads, is from those announcement letters. Because if your family and friends don't know that you're in real estate, they can't use you as an agent and refer you. So we pay for, So for you, the biggest part on your end is finding the addresses, because no one really does, mail anymore. But going through and getting those addresses ready. we have to wait till we get 200. And so if you don't have the full 200, but you have the 50 or 75, we'll combine that with another agent's, but we have to have 200 to get that bulk mailing rate. Once we get 200, we will mail them and pay for the postage. We pay for the printing and everything. So it's just one way that you can send them that hard copy letter. And I have templates that I can send you so you know exactly how to format your letter, but include a photo or a family picture. It will show you on there kind of what, it's more of a personal letter to your family and friends, let them know you're in real estate, send them a couple of business cards, but we will provide envelope, stamp, everything to get that sent out, because like I said, if they don't know, and then you can follow up with a text to say, hey, I hope you got my announcement letter. Just wanted to follow up and, make sure you got that, know that I'm in real estate now. So it's just like another touch to your SOI. So take advantage of that, because we're here to help. That was part of your, your sign-on costs that we're going to help pay for that. So
thank you, Sid, so much. That is so golden. This office is so amazing for so many reasons. We all want you to be successful, but take advantage of that. Have that initial email or letter sent out. Sorry, that's a mail. Something comes in mail.
But you could do the same thing with email. I mean, you can hit them like through snail mail and email and text, and yeah.
Let them know you're in business, and you'll be surprised to, hey, you know what? Lisi's in real estate now. Maybe I should call her and ask her these questions. Everybody has questions about real estate. Every single person does. And when you can establish yourself as my real estate agent in their phone, that's golden. That means you're top of mind with that individual. That's why I always tell people, hey, save me in your phone as my real estate agent. And this way they say, oh yeah, let me talk to my real estate agent. And they put your number in their phone. And just little things like that. I mean, it's gonna set you apart from other real estate agents maybe. And yeah, so let's recap today. 1, wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy. Just kidding. We're not doing Kesha. Okay, but wake up in the morning. Make sure you have the right mindset. If you need to, I recommend saying daily affirmations of who you are as a person, as an individual. Why are you going to be successful today? Why are you going to be the best agent? Then hit the phones. Have your source ready to go. Who you're going to call. God damn,
Matt,
yes, you're good. I like
Matt,
this.
well, like, will you share with us kind of your affirmations? Because I know that there's been a couple agents where they're like, I thought it was so, like Sherry Booth was saying this, I thought it was so cheesy. And then I started saying it and she's like, and now I do it every single day and I've been doing it for years, and she's one of our top agents. And so kind of explain to us about the affirmation.
Awesome. Affirmation is just something you say about yourself. Like, I am the best agent this person's ever going to talk to. Or I am an agent who has answers to people that I talk to's questions today. And you can just say whatever you feel like, hey, you know what, this is going to help me get up and just make the right calls and feel right in your mind, because it all starts with mindset of who you are. And don't be afraid to, say stuff like, I am the best real estate agent. Why? Because, you might be the best real estate agent, not just for yourself, but for whoever you talk to today. I feel like there's a lot of things that happen for a reason. We don't always know why, but they do happen for a reason. I don't know if you guys ever had those in your life where it's like, wow, this is like a strange coincidence, but it just happens. And you know what? It does happen for a reason. You come across people that it's like, you have a conversation where all of a sudden it's like, wow, where did that come from? Then all of a sudden it's like, this is why. It happened for a reason. And when you start yourself off in the right mindset, you know what? You're going to open up the door to opportunities. So yeah, daily affirmations are great. Get up in the mornings. You can go ahead and look up affirmations, say whatever mantra you want to say about yourself, and why today's going to be a good day. You know what? It helps you start the day off right. It's like when somebody you get to, I don't know, let's say to the office here, and someone says, man, you look really good today. All of a sudden it makes you feel a bit better. Or you know what? I really, really like your smile. Hey, you know what? Your hair looks great today. Hey, I really like that outfit. It's just something simple, but all of a sudden you feel a little bit better that day, right? Say that to yourself. Go ahead.
Cameron taught the last Ignite, and he was just like, and I've had a class before and Ignite with him before, and he was like, surprise, now we're going to call for referrals. Like, we're going to call our SOI for referrals. And I really like that he implemented that. But as we were going through our lesson, I was like, oh, I took Bold in May. I was like, okay, because that can kind of be a little scary or whatever. But I'm like, I'm going to do my I thought of 2 affirmations. One was, I love talking to people.
Good.
And the other one was, I can be sweet and to the point, because I was, looking for referrals. Like we were
Yes.
trying to compete against one another with,
I love it.
with that. And
Get to the
so
point fast.
that was
Good.
like really cool. I had something else that I was going to say, but I don't remember it.
Okay. Does anybody else have any affirmations that they like to say?
Oh, and
yeah.
during that too, I think she was asking a question. So my SOI is like my husband's family here, and there is a sister-in-law whose dad is an agent, whose brother's an agent. Like everyone in her family is an agent. And Cameron also had us, start writing names. He's like, here's a sheet of paper, write 10, names down. And then he had us call them, and so I did my affirmations. Good. And then one of them was my sister-in-law, because I just want to get people into my database. And I was like, well, she has so I'm thinking, my limiting beliefs that she, everyone in her family is an agent. But as I thought that, then I thought my second thought that was like, well, I don't know how often those family members get in contact with her to, let them know they're in real estate. Like, yeah, she knows they're agents, but if I'm the one on the forefront, like where she's like, oh, Tracy contacts me. She talks to me about real estate. Like I'm going to be the first one that she thinks of over her family members who just kind of renew their license every year. They aren't really working, and so I was like, oh, okay, she's going to be one that's in my SOI as well.
That's a good point. Each one of us are different, and there might be a client who is better, I say maybe their personality is better for you to work with than for me. Does that makes sense? So there's going to be, even though you have lots of agents in your family and you as well, as where it's okay to even talk to them about who do they have that they don't want to work with. And maybe there's going to be people that you can, hey, maybe it's just going to be a branch that just grows and grows and grows, that one lead. But there's going to be people that I come across all the time that I don't want to work with. I don't have time. Maybe we just don't get along very well. But that happens. And so it's not bad that they also are agents. There's plenty of business to go around the valley, plenty. It's just a matter of you being in the right place at the right time, but asking the right questions. And when you bring yourself to the point where you know business, you know the right questions to ask, you're going to become the expert. Even though they've been in the business for a long time, you can I hate to say this, but supersede what they are as agents, because maybe your mindset's different, maybe the questions you're asking are better. And so that just gives you an opportunity to grow and to prosper.
So Matt, is that coming up with your own value proposition? Like what have you done when you have a family member who they have a good friend or neighbor or, someone that they know is an agent? How do you kind of win them over? Do you just need to come up with your own value proposition to, compare as you're comparing yourself to other agents? How do you kind of beat them out for the
What do you think is really important to somebody to learn about yourself?
First, if you're an agent.
Okay,
Just
good. Yeah, good.
reaching out, being proactive, but
okay. You're going to maybe service them better than anybody else will, right? Why
communication,
okay,
stay in touch with them, constant communication, keeping them on top of what's going on with the deal, being proactive about that.
Good. That's something that you were saying, Lisa, is you're being proactive. Communication is very important, instead of just, I haven't talked to that person for like 6 months. And now here you're asking me at the right time, at the right place. Go ahead. Sorry. Lisa, sorry.
Yeah, it's okay.
Tracy.
We're both brown. It's fine. So I was in a CE professionalism and real estate class yesterday over at UCAR. And one of the things they talked about was that you can't, as long as you have integrity, you've got to talk up. People who you are know if you're trustworthy. And we talked a lot about the fact that how people perceive you and how you act and your truthfulness and your integrity is going to really sell you. Yeah, ethical you have to be. And for your sphere that really know you, that's where for me, I'm like, well, I think everybody knows how I act in real life, and that I would never do something that would be dishonest and take money from someone or something like that. So I think that's really important too. Right.
Absolutely. That's good. There's going to be opportunities for you, even though, I love Clay. Clay started, the Red Sun team initially. Clay's a phenomenal agent. He's phenomenal. there may be opportunities to where he has somebody that he's like, I'm better fit for them. Not just because I speak Spanish, that's probably part of it, but also because I just have a different personality than he does. We're both phenomenal agents. We just are different in our own ways, which are great. And there's so much business out there. There's you look at the pie of business. There's all these different types of categories, different types of people who are looking for, for help in real estate. You have those that are looking to buy something, like build a new home. You have a builder who's looking to, build out this subdivision. You have a brand new home buyer. You have somebody who's looking in this specific area. There's so many differences out there. We are all going to find our unique places, and we're going to grow. But I would say, just like you're saying, deliver a good value proposition, and be professional. And everywhere you go, have that good reputation of you're an ethical person, and you're going to treat them better than anybody else can in business.
And Lacey, I love like what you said, that I like lead with that. We've known each other for a while. You know that I'm trustworthy and that I'm going to, hold the highest ethical standard when I'm doing business with you. Like, lead with that. That's awesome. And if people know you for that, that will go a long way, especially in a business like this. I shared last time, and I apologize. I think Tracy and Sam may have heard this, but Heather Morley, she was a waitress at Outback. She's one of our top agents now, but she was a waitress at Outback, and she had some clients that came in and she served them at the bar. They were regulars, and she had just gotten her license, and she thought, they're kind of like high rollers. I'm sure they know like 10 agents. I'm not going to say anything, but then she decided got over that limiting belief. And she said, I'm an agent. And they ended up giving her, they did know 10 other agents, but they gave her, because she'd established that relationship with them. It was just a casual, friendly relationship because she was a waitress there. Ended up giving her the business. She's now 4 deals from them. And they were over $600,000 homes each time. So bought, sold condos, vacation homes, because she just got over she's like, I'm just going to try. So she did. So that was awesome.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And each one of those is a new branch, because each person that they talk to, who did you use, Keith? Who helped you buy and sell a home? Oh, well, Heather did. All of a sudden that becomes referral business, and that is super powerful. So no matter what, just establish yourself as a real estate expert, and you're going to go far. I promise you. This business, it just blossoms. Be consistent though. Again, do your daily prospecting, and you'll see it flourish. It's pretty amazing. Yeah, Spencer.
What was your question, Spencer?
I did. He wants to know about the tattoo.
Oh, the hair. You said you were going to tell us about the hair and the tattoo.
Oh yeah. Okay. So when I started,
if it's appropriate.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
So when I started here, I actually had long hair. When I started at Keller Williams here, it was much longer than this. It was like down here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And it was, so that's when I started here. The reason why I grew out my hair is because why not? I had never grown my hair out my entire life. And I just happened to be in a place in my life to where I was growing out my hair, My wife at the time said, she liked me having longer hair, and I started being a little bit of a vegan hippie, because that's just what it was.
Because that's what you do when you have long hair and you're a guy.
Yes. So I grew my hair out, and so I did that.
Like, are we talking man bun? Like there was like a man bun on occasion?
I could have. I never wore a man bun because that wasn't my style.
I'm not saying
I just had long curly hair, and so I was like, what? I am going to grow it out again. And actually, I have a friend who wanted me to be a character in a movie. And so he's like, I want you to grow your hair back out. And so I was like, okay. I thought I was going to do it by the end of summertime, but it hasn't grown as fast as I was hoping it would. I was thinking, my hair is going to grow fast, because it usually does. So I don't know what's going to happen with that. I don't know if I'm just going to cut it, or if I'm going to wait till next year to do it. So that's when my hair is growing out. We'll see how it goes. It's kind of crazy though. It's just kind of, it gets curly, and then I don't know. It's okay. I explain it to clients, and clients are like, oh, it's fun. They say, I like you better with longer hair than short hair. It's different. Yeah, it's just different. So the tattoo. Okay. So the tattoo, this is true.
Yeah.
Wait, what? Wait, what did they say to you? Who said what? Okay, so again, we'll talk about Clay. Well, we're going to bring Clay back into this. Clay was having a bachelor party. And so we went down to Las Vegas.
I just wonder if I should stop recording on the Zoom at this point.
Yeah, maybe I should turn this microphone off. No,
I'm just kidding. I'm totally kidding.
So Clay had a bachelor party down in Las Vegas, and we were just having a good time. I can tell you the short version or the long version, but the short version was I was challenged to get a tattoo, and I did it at about 2 a.m. in the morning and on the Las Vegas Strip. And
So this is like the Hangover, the KW Hangover in Vegas movie.
Yeah, exactly. I won't go into all the details. If you want to talk to me personally about what happened that night, that's for.
So can we ask about what the tattoo is of?
Let me pull it up. It's on my ankle here. Yes, here. Hang on 1 second here. I have to get a little bit wet so you can see it more clearly. So,
it's a red sign.
Yes,
okay,
exactly.
That's cool. That's not.
So it's right here. I don't know if you guys can see that. So this is my team's logo. Yes, I'm slightly obsessed. So yeah, so I have a red sign team logo on.
That's dedication.
That's a good question. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, so I have this. This is what Cameron was referring to because Cameron was there too. We were just down on the Strip, and I don't know. It was a fun night. It was a crazy night.
So now you're dedicated to KW and red sign basically forever. You just emblazoned that in your leg.
Okay, so tattoos for me are a big deal. They have to have a purpose, right? Like they have to have a meaning. I'm sure everybody's tattoos do, but this one was like, this was a start of a career that has changed my life. I mean, it totally changed my life. I mean, things are great, and I love what I do, and I feel like it's more of a calling than anything, just being a real estate agent. So this is where I got my start, was on Red Sign Team. I'm still here. I love them. They're good. They're a fun team, fun bunch of guys, and we're all kind of growing. Yeah, things have changed a bit in life. You go through marriages, divorces, kids. You go through different pieces of the pie, but it's something that's always consistent is what we do. Career is something I can always rely on because it's maybe who I am. Your language in your life changes as you learn these scripts too. So like as you have conversations with people, all of a sudden it's just, you just immediately go to real estate. There's so much cool information that Gary Keller talks about. You see these awesome boards right up here, all 6, I think I call it perspectives. You learn about these and you start implementing them in your life. Commit to self-mastery. Big deal. I mean, there are people here that are not just in real estate, but also just in the development of ourselves as individuals, being the best people we can be. Not just real estate agents, but people in general. You have the 80-20 principle, the move from E to P. It's like excelling your life, taking it from where it is now and maybe putting yourselves in a whole nother realm. And it's pretty cool. That's one thing I love about Keller Williams, is that they're into personal development. So cool. Yeah, so there's the tattoo, and that's why I have long hair. Any other questions?
Well, and that's what, I mean, if you look up at our, and this you can't tell, but then we have, Colby Kerr, and he's got, some really cool. You have to ask him about his tattoos sometime, but a sleeve tattoo. Like there's just, everyone has their own unique style.
Yeah, we're all different.
Everyone has their own sphere of influence. And it's just cool that everyone has, there's a Jack for every Jill, and everyone has their people that Kerr. There's Colby. And he taught Ignite and brought that up, and about his tattoos and stuff. But you know what?
Here's Heather Morley.
Yeah, there's Heather. That's what makes him stand out. And he has his people, and everyone does. So, and I remember a couple years ago.
This is me with short hair.
Oh, there's Matt.
That's right.
With shorter hair. We can't wait for that to be long, Matt.
For your hair to be longer.
Longer. But
pull up my Facebook, you can see my long hair. You're like, oh my gosh. When I first started here. That was funny.
So I've always kind of thought about real estate, but I again have this limiting belief that I'm like, everyone I know is agents. I know, why would anyone use me? Like I know like 10 agents. Well, really, I don't know that many. And it just because someone like Matt was saying doesn't mean you'd necessarily use them. Maybe they're a family member and you don't feel comfortable talking finances with them. Maybe it's someone that you don't trust. You don't feel like they would be good doing business with, or you just want to
connect with them.
You just won't connect with them, whatever the reason is. And then 3 people on my street sold a home last year, and they all use random realtors, and they were all different. And I'm like, I could have just sold 3 houses because I've known them for like 10, 15 years. And I know that, we have a good enough relationship. I felt like I could have gotten that business, but
Got to open up your mouth.
I know they didn't even know I was, and I'm not a realtor yet, but I wish I would have pursued this sooner because, it's just something I'm passionate about, but I kept thinking, okay, everyone I know is someone, like no one's going to use me. There's already 10 in an area, like everyone I know. And it's just.
So you're saying you could have just made over $20,000, maybe closer to 30,000.
Literally 3 people on our street within 6 months sold their home, and they all sold within 1 week, and they all used a different realtor, and it was just random people that they really didn't even know. Like why?
Because they reached out to them.
Yeah, they just found someone like randomly. So, I don't know. I just think that we have to get over those limiting beliefs and find our value proposition. And then I started thinking, who do I know? Who's my sphere of influence? Well, I've lived here for 40 years. My husband and I are both from here. Both sides of our family are here. And I started going through all of our family, not one realtor on either side of our family. And they all live here. So I'm like, why? That's almost 200 people just right there. And the thing is, they don't need to be buying or selling a home. They just need to know someone who's buying or selling, their neighbor, their friend, someone that they work with.
And again, we come across conversations regarding real estate 5-6 times a year. They do, every single person does, to where all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, they can refer you, Sid, to if you would be a real estate agent.
Absolutely.
I really wish you would take your test.
Well, and then the people. Oh, are you saying that to me?
Yeah.
Well, I'm getting there. But then just the people that, the auto mechanic that you go to, they're your hairstylist, like, hey, I'd love giving you business. I'm just wondering if there's any way you could help me out. And
I know a really good hairstylist, just so you know. Alex, is that what you do? Do you said you own a barbershop or something?
Her husband.
Okay. Well, her husband. Exactly. It's like you come across opportunities where you can just refer people, right? Yeah. And so
think of like all the business that you've given to those owners, and you're asking for, hey, I've given you business and I'd love to get something, like have a partnership or something. Like, how can we make that work? Like, yeah, let me help you. And I've loved helping you. And can you do the same? Like, I don't. But half of it's just getting over that limiting belief that, oh my heck, what if I say something and they take it wrong? Or what if, there's a lot of what ifs. But if Heather would have never asked those people who came to, her restaurant, because she had the belief that she was a waitress and Outback, and
I know Outback.
That they were like
I
these
remember
kind of,
her when she was a waitress there. Yeah.
She would have never gotten 4 deals, and that's how she got going. She got 17 deals her first year, and she wouldn't have gotten those if she wouldn't have let people know that she was a realtor. So I appreciate what Matt has said today. Let's give him a hand.
Thank you.
Yeah, I love all these classes. They're just, and that's why I want to stay down here, is because it helps me not only in my job, but just, just to get to know real estate in general and get past those limiting beliefs that we have. So any other questions for Matt?
Anything? Yes. Scripts. Okay, so I have scripts for every situation. I'm going to send those to each one of your email addresses, and it's just what I call the red sign scripts. That's what we use. It's our secret sauce for a lot. A lot of times it's just, tell me a little bit about your situation. That's the easiest one you can even think of. No matter where you're at, just say, tell me a little bit about your situation. And then all of a sudden people just spew. They just tell you everything. Well, you know what, my mom, she's looking at selling her house because she wants to move here and here. And like, okay, great. You just gathering information. And once they open up their mouth, let them talk. And then that's going to start saying, okay, this is how I can help. I can actually list your mom's home. And this is why I'd be a good fit for her. But just, that's the easiest one. Tell me about your situation.